Hey creepers, welcome to the Mrs. Night Terror channel. Join me as I tell you spooky, shocking, and scary bedtime tales. Each story is a fictional narrative, so don't worry too much about it coming true. If you think you can handle it, listen closely and imagine yourself being part of each and every story I tell. I want to say thank you to each and every creeper out there. This is the next episode of my scary story series, and surely not the last. If you enjoy what you hear, be sure to give me a follow and leave a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed the most. Today, I have a truly terrifying story for you that'll send shivers up your spine. So grab a blanket, turn off the lights, and let's get started with this not-so-true crime nightmare. Tonight's terrorizing tale is called Eclipse of the Unborn. Long ago, in the village of Black Springs, strange occurrences began to plague the townfolk as a rare lunar eclipse approached. Shadows moved on their own, whispers filled the air, and nightmares haunted the sleep of almost every villager. Amidst this growing dread, a woman named Cary experienced the most disturbing symptoms of all. She developed some form of narcolepsy, falling asleep almost everywhere at any time of the day. She was overwhelmed and exhausted. She couldn't focus and soon began having the unfortunate disorder, sleep paralysis. You know, the one that makes you unable to move or speak as you're waking up. Often you see beings that resemble monsters in the corner as you lie there unable to move. Well, she was having sleep paralysis on a regular basis. Even during the day when she would nod off, it would happen. She was unable to drive, go to work, or even socialize. Her sleep disorders had become so disruptive that she found herself staying in bed for days at a time. As she went on, her sleep paralysis started to change. Her once fearful thoughts about the monsters she would see soon became lustful and sinful. She could swear the being felt it too, and soon they started having relations together. I won't go too much in detail here. Check out my Patreon for the full story about their naughty relationship. But the PG YouTube version continues this way. The day before the eclipse had finally arrived, and Cary felt nauseous and bloated. She looked in the mirror and noticed a little weight gain in her tummy, but she assumed it was because she had been staying in bed more often and sleeping more. Throughout the afternoon, she felt worse. Her back ached and her stomach had intense pressure. She felt more bloated than ever, and she looked swollen and puffy. As she laid in bed, she couldn't believe her eyes when she saw her stomach moving. She screamed as she got an intense pain in her ribs, crying out in agony. "Ow! What is happening?" she screamed. She passed out from the pain, and maybe it was the narcolepsy. But when she woke up, her sleep paralysis demon was there, waiting to greet her. His arms were open as if he had been reaching out to grab something. Or someone. Cary had pains in her stomach that were unbelievably painful, and as soon as she found her voice, she screamed out. She looked down and couldn't believe her eyes. She was full-term pregnant. Her belly was protruding and she could feel the baby wanting to come out. She could hear whispers in the air, although she couldn't tell who they were coming from. "Not yet, not now," the whispers echoed. Cary looked around. The darkness made everything more difficult, but she couldn't get up. She was about to deliver a baby, and soon. She looked outside towards the moon. The sky was a canvas of deep indigo, punctuated by a smattering of stars that twinkled like distant ancient secrets. As the clock struck midnight, the lunar eclipse began its slow dance across the heavens. The moon, once again glowing, started to dim as an eerie shadow crept over its face. The first sliver of darkness was subtle, almost imperceivable, but it carried a chilling weight that seemed to hush the nocturnal world. Everything went silent. And as the shadow grew, an unsettling stillness fell over the landscape. The chirping of crickets ceased, and even the wind seemed to hold its breath. The moon, now half consumed by encroaching darkness, hung in the sky like a wounded eye, casting a dim, rust-covered glow down to the earth. The reddish hue deepened, transforming the familiar lunar surface into a blood moon, one that harbored ancient omens and forgotten prophecies. The eerie light bathed the world in an unearthly pallor, casting long, distorted shadows and twisted specters in the night. People gathered outside, their faces upturned, eyes wide with a mix of awe and dread. Conversations were hushed, voices trembling as they spoke of the strange, unique phenomena in the sky. Children clung to their parents, their innocent curiosity tinged with fear. Even the most rational minds couldn't shake the primal unease of the eclipse. It was as if the moon, in its transformation, had become a portal to another realm, a place where nightmares roamed free and the boundaries of reality blurred. In the midst of the celestial spectacle, the air grew colder, carrying with it the sense of foreboding. The crimson moon now hung fully eclipsed, an ominous omen in the silent sky. The light it cast was dim and otherworldly, painting the world in shades of red and black. It was a night that felt as though it could unravel the fabric of every existence, a night where the veil had been thin. As the minutes dragged on, an unshakable feeling of being watched crept over those who dared to gaze at the moon, as if unseen eyes from the shadows were observing them, waiting for their moment to strike. And then Cary heard the whispers again, clearer than ever. Now, they all chimed in together. Now is the time. Cary felt a sharp, agonizing pain in her stomach as she birthed her baby. The once lustful being that helped her create that life vanished. Its spirit ascended into the sky, looking as though it went directly into the moon. As the baby let out its first cry, Cary looked around. Nobody was there to help her. She held her baby, unsure how she was going to explain her situation to her friends, her family, or anyone else who may ask. She had no father for her son. She had no previous signs of pregnancy. Who would believe her? Who would believe that a demon impregnated her? Who would believe that she had a 24-hour pregnancy? Everything was up in the air. She looked at the baby. He had her nose and her ears, so she knew he was hers. But would the world believe he was hers? In the midst of the eclipse, she called 911. She explained that she had given birth, and she needed an ambulance right away. The baby was fine, but she needed to go to the hospital. After a few questions and vague answers, dispatch was on their way. Cary held her baby and sat on the front steps of her home, waiting for help to arrive. When the paramedics got there, they were overwhelmed by the sight of Cary. She was laid out on the stairs. There were giant cuts in her stomach. The house was trashed, and there was a blood trail from upstairs all the way down to the front porch. Cary was barely coherent. holding her protruding insides. Her, intestines lie in front of her, and she was cradling them, saying, "Please save my baby." And as we draw the curtains on this chilling tale, our hearts still racing and our minds haunted by the echoes of the unknown, remember that the darkness we've explored is but a glimpse into the abyss that dwells within us all. In the realm of the mysterious, we find both terror and fascination. And in these shadows, we confront the depths of human nature in the uncharted territories of the universe. Thanks to each and every creeper out there who takes their time of their day to listen to my horrifying stories. Remember to follow me on X, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm more active on X though. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon for much darker tales, ones that are far too naughty for YouTube. And fear not, as you step back into the realm of the familiar, let the shivers down your spine remind you that life's greatest mysteries are the ones that keep you awake at night, asking us to appear into the darkness and challenge the boundaries of our understanding. Until next time, dear listeners, may your dreams be undisturbed, and may you find solace in the light of day. Good night and sweet dreams, if you dare.